Hi everyone. In this demo, we'll see how we can use the Datawiza Access Broker to integrate existing web applications with Azure Active Directory and pass user header attributes to our application. If we visit app.v4.com, which is where our application is running, we can see our sample header-based app. This application is expecting the following headers to be passed in: email, first name, last name, and groups. We'll start the configuration process by logging into the DCMC, or Datawiza Cloud Management Console. We'll create a deployment and call it Demo Deploy. Next, we generate our set of provisioning keys. These keys allow the Access Broker to get the latest configuration options from the Management Console for every application within the deployment. We'll create the application and call it Header-Based App. The public domain is where our application is externally accessible. Traffic reaches the Access Broker, which listens on the following port, and is then proxied to our application. The upstream server is the address of where the target application is running. In this case, we've set it to be our local Docker network, port 3001. We set the default action to be allow, which is the default catch-all policy for our access control, if none of the rules we've specified match. Finally, we'll configure our identity provider to be Azure Active Directory, and we'll enable our one-click solution. At the end of all of this, we're presented with a sample Docker Compose file. You can pull our image from our Docker registry using the following deploy token and use this Docker Compose as a sample in the next step. Now, on our server, we'll paste in our Docker Compose file from the previous step. We run docker compose-f and give our file name, and optionally, we can do a docker ps to see our Access Broker running. We must now remember to change our forwarding rules on our load balancer. Instead of traffic visiting port 3001, we now want it to go to our Access Broker, which is running on port 9772. Our configuration is now complete. We visit our public domain, app.v4.com, and are now prompted to sign in with our IDP, Azure Active Directory. This application is expecting header attributes. We'll fix that shortly. To pass in header attributes, we have to go back to the DCMC. We visit the Attribute Pass tab and can start creating the values for each attribute. The field value is the attribute supplied by the identity provider. The expected field is the name of the header our application is expecting. Valid types include header, cookie, and JWT token. We'll repeat this process for first name, last name, email, and groups. After configuring our header attributes, we'll go back to our public domain URL to visit our application. We'll authenticate with our identity provider once more. And finally, we can see our headers have been successfully passed in. Email, first name, last name, and groups all have the green check mark next to their name.